NBA MVP rankings. How does James Harden's i.njury impact MVP race? Houston Rockets star James Harden, who has been number 1 in these weekly rankings for the entire season, will be sidelined at least 2 weeks with a grade 2 hamstring strain he suffered in Sunday's double overtime win over the Los Angeles Lakers. As far as the MVP race is concerned, this could go a variety of ways. On one hand, Harden could return as soon as January 18 against Minnesota, and he could pick up right where he left off, leaving voters to debate whether missing a handful of games was all that detrimental. On the other, this could be a lingering issue. Harden is to be re-evaluated in 2 weeks, meaning he won't necessarily return then. But once he does, Coach Mike D'Antoni will have weighed his minutes, tied for 10th in the NBA, his MVP chances, and whether any of that affects Houston's spot in the Western Conference playoff race. It's widely believed that exhaustion played a factor in last year's second-round exit, and the Rockets currently sit in the number 2 spot, sandwiched 2 games between first-place Golden State and third-place San Antonio. Harden may fall in the rankings while he's sidelined, as we saw with Stephen Curry and the ankle injury that kept him out for 11 games. Or he may stay put thanks to his stellar resume up to this point. The fact of the matter is this: we don't know. So for now, Harden remains at the top. USA Today Sports Weekly NBA MVP rankings, as voted on by Sam Amick, Jeff Zildjian, Michael Singer and Ajnu Harthkus, are below. Last week's ranking: number 5 season stats, 24.8 points, 4.9 assists, 3.1 rebounds, 1.2 steals, 48.9% shooting. Irving, who ranks 3rd in the NBA in total fourth-quarter points, 231, and 2nd in total points scored in the clutch, 99, faces his former team for the 2nd time this season on Wednesday. Only this time, he'll play host. He recorded 22 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds and 3 steals in the first contest, a 3-point loss on opening night. Last week's ranking: number 3 season stats, 29.0 points, 10.4 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 1.7 steals, 54.5% shooting in this week's edition of Why We Love Antetokounmpo, after being benched by Jason Kidd for a chunk of the third quarter in Thursday's loss to Minnesota. The superstar forward lauded his coach for the decision. "I love it," Antetokounmpo said. "If you're not doing the right thing, you've got to sit your butt on the bench. I think coach did a great job pulling guys out and teaching them a lesson. I was one of them. He pulled me out and he told me, you've got to play harder. I came back in, played harder. I love that. For a coach to do that, that means he really wants to win and he really cares about his team. We've got to appreciate that as players." Last week's ranking: number 4 season stats, 25.9 points, 7.0 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 2.2 blocks, 50.2% shooting. The return of Curry will take some of the spotlight back off Durant, as was the case Saturday night when the 2-time MVP stole the show to the tune of 10 3-pointers and 38 points in just 26 minutes. But Durant still filled up the stat sheet, tallying 20 points, on 7 of 12 shooting, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, a block and a steal. Last week's ranking: number 2 season stats, 27.8 points, 9.2 assists, 8.2 rebounds, 1.6 steals, 55.9% shooting. The presence of Isaiah Thomas will make Cleveland's high-power defense all the more dangerous. And, as Kyle Korver told USA Today Sports recently, James should reap the benefits of having another scorer for opposing defenses to focus on. You know, sometimes when we get stagnant is when we start depending on Bron too much to create everything, and he can do it, but it's hard every night for an 82-game season, Korver said. To have someone else who can share that load of handling the ball and making plays for guys, I think that'll help us out. Last week's ranking: number 1 season stats, 32.3 points, 9.1 assists, 5.0 rebounds, 1.8 steals, 45.1% shooting Harden, who had 40 points and 11 assists before exiting Sunday's game, ended 2017 with 2,490 points and 805 assists, which, according to LS Sports Bureau, is the second most in a calendar year in NBA history behind Nate Archibald.